Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Zeals back again with another video. How are you guys doing? So I'm going over 40 hours without sleep. I'm kind of high on caffeine. I also had to go get a drug test this morning at the hospital. I'm a little jittery and twitchy right now, so show some appreciation, boys. We also did hit 5,000 subscribers. Hell yeah. So stay towards the end of today's video for the giveaway details. Alright, today we have the much anticipated Aspen's release and the Christmas events. Some of you guys I know have prepared and waited patiently for months. Before launching into the initial assessment, we do have two additions to our Patreon family, Rise and Thing. I think I got the names right today. Alright, welcome aboard, and I'm truly grateful for your undying support for my YouTube and Idol Heroes journey. Thank you. Fist pump. What's up? For any new visitors to my channel, I have done a full review of newly released heroes through the extensive stress tests to bring plethora of information. Due to the sheer amount of data and footages, not everything made the final cut for today's video, which is part 1 of the new Dark Lord Aspen series. So if there is an aspect of the game you aren't seeing today, don't worry, subscribe and stay tuned as I'll cover them over the course of the week in series. Alright, so the first half will feature PvP, and then we'll transition into PVE a little bit in Broken Space. I have had the privilege to test a new hero in many gear setups and tons of lineups. I want to give a little shout out and thanks to the heroes that entrusted me to drive their account to test for your pleasure. There were tons of other people who wanted me to showcase their Aspen with their server meta of GVE, Good versus Evil Aura, Redemption Aura, or Rainbow Aura, and I really appreciate all your support in helping me get as much data as possible. You guys are in for a treat as we'll go in depth over the course of the week. Unfortunately, none of today's clips will be from my own personal account. I haven't had the opportunity to play my own or even touch the events just yet. However, that doesn't mean that it's not me playing these accounts and testing it with my short, fat sausage fingers, boys. Alright, boys, so let's get this party started. Take out the champagne. Hell yeah. So first impression, the hero is extremely solid, alright? Let me re-emphasize that. He's pretty damn good, alright? Aspen is a well-designed hero. His skills are modern in today's meta. Not a hard hero to understand. However, he has numerous viable builds. Let me say that one more time. Numerous viable builds, okay? Not just one, alright? So one of the biggest misconceptions in day one of his release is what's his best build. I have done attack stone, crit stone, HP stone, holy damage stone with every artifact imaginable, and there's not one size that fits all. Anyways, we'll get into that later. Every fight that I feature today will showcase Aspen's gear as well, so you're not confused or left behind. Got it, boys? I'm going to break it down into the pros and cons. Then finally, I'm going to wrap it up nicely into a gift box, and we're going to talk about the stones, artifacts, and lineups. So let's start with the pros. First, his damage is great. Maybe that's even an understatement. Let's get that out the way. Not only is it good off the bat, but also it ramps up through his basic attack as he gains 15% attack and 15% crit damage. Beautiful. He also has an execute ability that deals more damage against targets below 35%. Conjunction with hitting light heroes, man, you're going to see fireworks on your screen. Second, his crowd control or CC percentage is great. The Horrify mechanic is new, and while it's not the best form of CC, I'll take the utility any day. What I mean by not the best form of CC is that horrified heroes that have full energy are still going to use their active skills. Basically, horrified targets are unable to use their basic attacks for 2 rounds. This will affect heroes that rely heavily on basic attacks like Belrain, who places healing over time on 3 random allies, and even Valkyrie, who spreads attack reduction to 3 random enemy targets. As a side note, Horrified doesn't proc Valkyrie's healing and doesn't stop King Barton's last passive, the counter attack. Also remember, heroes taking damage will still generate 10 energy and 20 for taking critical damage. So it's not like they will just sit there and not pump out damage if Horrified at above 40 to 50 out of 100 energy. Third, he also ramps up damage reduction and CC immunity through his basic and active attacks, which is great. Don't get that confused with the word shield. He's not really creating an absorption kind of shield as you may expect from like other kinds of games where a shield, creates like a barrier or a bubble. But basically what it does is it wraps up his defensives visually and in numbers as well. Alright, with that out the way, let's cover the cons real quick. If you haven't checked out my part 1 video of Dark Faction Hero's dilemma in today's meta, make sure to click the link above and I'll be continuing off from there. But of course, I'll give a little summary in a bit. Because of how modern and well-rounded Aspen is, it's not really his fault for some of these weaknesses. The biggest question is, did Aspen mend or fix or bring back good versus evil aura to the level of godhood? Not really. Well, not as well as we wanted it to be. He's not really softening the bursts, right? He can create a breathing room so that your allies can catch up, whether it be catching up with heals or to re-CC targets as seen here. While his Horrify creates a gap for the affected targets from using their actives often, but it's not really softening the hits like it would with attack reduction or with attack steal. He's not shielding allies or bringing some sort of damage softening utility to his teammates. He's not really making the light heroes in GVE shine or his fellow dark heroes as well, other than just brute forcing bursts for wins in a full dark lineup. However, he still does surprisingly well in GVE and Rainbow lineups as you are seeing today. The first petty I have is, like most of the newly released heroes these days, Aspen can get harassed by Sia, the idle hero's police. He has no real solution for Sia other than the brute force burst he has. The Horrify can help, but a well-built Sia with high CC immunity is one weakness of his. Second, Aspen can be squishy in early rounds. While he does have damage reduction and CC immunity that ramps up through his basic and active skills, keyword ramp up, under perfect conditions, he'll reach that CC immunity within 4 to 5 rounds, depending on your artifact. In most GVE teams, most, not all, they are built toward need for speed, meaning they try to decide the game in the early rounds as discussed in the Dark Faction Dilemma video. The goal of trying to decide games in the first few rounds doesn't really go hand in hand with Aspen's toolkit. However, GVE and Rainbow, and to a lesser extent, Ruin Aura, that are built for mid to late rounds as you can see here, can use Aspen if tailored correctly by nurturing the shit out of him and making sure to get him into the later rounds where he goes apeshit due to his damage ramp up and his last passive. Which is why you need this ape alive to finish the game. He's like a cousin or a big brother or the relative of Horus, Omnivore, and Dark Archandel all in one. That's why we must go back to the talk of stones and artifact. He does on paper look like a hero where crit build looks great, or attack build as well. But that means you are lowering your rate of success, which equals less consistent. Sure, of course, there's gonna be games where you do win by early round bursts here and there, but there will be games where your Aspen just flops over as well. Attack builds also exposes Aspen to idle heroes police force, Sia. I tried Holy Damage Stone and I found it to be the happy middle ground for most of the multiple teams I piloted today. It lets me get to the later rounds, and there were so many fights I thought Aspen would totally just flop over or lose, only to skip the fight and then come with the victory as seen here. And as said earlier, that ramp up damage and defensives and chipping enemies into the execute range, the sub 35% HP phase, is vital. He definitely can get that solo carry potential. Going with his last passive clutch heals, if you can make sure he has a fighting chance going into the mid-late rounds. Just look at these fights. Awful start, just awful starts. Top dogs, all CC'd. Not only that, just chain CC'd. And I skipped the fight, and what the f? I'm like, you know what? There's no way there's gonna be a recovery here. I just skipped the fight, and to my surprise, Allah. Anyways, I also tried the full HP stone. Unfortunately, boys, the clips didn't make the director's cut, but it has its place as well. Speed stone with Demon Bell was also a way to stop enemy heroes from doing their basics in round 1, which prevents them from doing their actives in round 2. However, once again, know the risk involved. Since you're playing with fire, as Aspen may or may not land the 50% Horrify to the right heroes, Sia and Omnivore, and that risk lowers consistency. Overall, he's a great hero to build in the right hands. However, to get the most bang for your buck, with this hero, you need to know the hero inside out and know how your fights are going versus your server's opponents. You also need to build a team around them and know what you want to do with this hero. Ask yourself, is your team built for early rounds? Are you going all in? Are you going ham, balls to the walls, or are you going into the late rounds where heroes like Horus and Aspen will just tear the skies? That will be your deciding factor in using the artifacts and stones. Don't let his toolkit and character sheet fool you. Some of the data you'll see on the screen right now, bam! Alright, here's a clip of some PVE. You guys all know by now through previous videos and social media platforms that Scaries are PVE broken space kings. However, this doesn't mean Aspen is a bad hero for PVE either, due to the current HP part of his active skill damage. Alright? Since bosses will have a lot of health, his active will be fine, that current HP stuff, it'll be alright, and his last passive, Execute, will make up for it as well when the bosses are below 35%. So there you have it, folks. That's it. The initial assessment for Aspen. Overall, I like this hero. He's fun in the right hands. I like him, all right? I'm not completely sold yet because I was expecting something better for the overall health of GVE, but I'll take him, all right? I'll take a new meta. I'm kind of tired of watching the same thing and testing the same stuff. I always welcome new heroes and a shifting meta, and I'm going to welcome him to the tier list. I'll be back with another video before Christmas. And as for the giveaway, guys, I'm going to give away 5 US Google Play Store cards, and leave a comment below. The keyword for today's giveaway will be 5K Android, baby. I'll pick the winners on Christmas Eve, and I'll announce it through the community subscription feed. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video in the part 2 series, discussing more about Aspen and providing additional clips and further review. All right, guys, stay tuned. Peace.